Welcome to Gorilla Garage. Today we're going to be working on a 06 yz125. I've already put a new crank bearings, crank seals. I've already done that. We're going to reassemble the engine. And I see a lot of videos of people disassembling the engine, but I've never seen anybody go in depth about reassembling the engine on YouTube. So that's what we're going to do today, and we're going to show you how to put it together. This is what was wrong with the bike. I don't know if y'all can see that. Alright, put this crank in, knock it in with a plastic hammer, or either a piece of wood with a metal hammer. Plastic. All you got to do is just knock it back into the bearing. Once it's seated all the way, it's done. And I didn't have to take these gears out. I left them in there, and I put zip ties on the gears so they couldn't come off. They stayed just like they are. All right. Once you got the crank and the crank bearings and the crank in and the crank seals in, you're going to clean this surface really good with a razor blade. I use some carburetor cleaner to get the rest of it off because it dries clean. I didn't use parts cleaner because it leaves an oily residue. And I've cleaned the inside of the whole motor with a carburetor cleaner. Got all the old oil, metal out, if there was any. I got both sides of the case clean and ready to go. Next thing you're going to do is use silicone to seal the case all the way around. Make sure you get every part, because basically a motor's a vacuum pump. If it's got an air leak, it will not pull through the carburetor right. So you're going to seal every bit of this up, and you want to use something like Honda Bond, not some water pump gasket maker. You want to use something that's especially for the case. So that's what we got. So we're gonna put the silicone on, and then we're gonna put the case together, and I'll show you how to do that. Next thing you're going to do is put your case guides back in, dial pins or whatever you want to call them. Not really a pin. That one goes right beside this water jacket, and this one goes right at the top of this gear in the back side. And it should press all the way in until you can't press them anymore. Then we're going to put this water jacket sleeve in. It's got to have a O-ring on it. Alright, we got all that done. So the next thing we're going to do, obviously we're going to take these zip ties off, but we leave them in there. They won't go together with them on there. Next thing we're going to do is we're going to put this Honda Bond around on this side of the case. And then once we get that done, all the way around the whole surface. Don't forget this part. And after that, we're going to take the case and we're going to tap it on with this rubber hammer until it's completely seated. And then we'll put bolts in it. Let's do that. Anyway, here we go.
Is this your first time rebuilding a dirt bike engine?
No. only other one I've done was a DS80 Suzuki. It had a broke kickstart shaft in it, and it went all the way to the transmission. I had to do the same exact thing to replace it. It's not that easy to replace a kickstart shaft. When you see them online and they say all it needs is a kickstart shaft, it ain't something you can just throw in there.
So you were self-taught?
Yeah, it was. My parents didn't have enough money to fix stuff like this or buy it, so I always had to buy it. I had to buy it myself broke and then fix it myself.
Do you have any tips for a beginner?
Only thing I can tell you, like I tell my son, if it's already broke, what's the worst you can do to it? Break it some more? So if it's already broke, I'd try to fix it. Even if you can't fix it. At least you know something about it after that. Next thing we're going to do is put the bolts in the bike and torque them down. And I always take them and put them in a bag and write what they are on the bag. That way I don't have to remember so much, because it's hard trying to remember what everything is. Alright, how to figure out where these bolts go is when you put them in, they all should stick out the same exact length. See how that one too far down in there? So that one don't go there. See how that one sticks up? See? That one don't go there. See how that sticks up same amount? See? Too far down. That's too much. See the same length? See the same length? That's how you figure out which bolt goes where. You don't have to keep up where they go. None of that. See in here? Same length as the rest of these. They all should stick out the same exact length. All of them same exact length. See how that one sticks out too far? Alright, see that? right length. That one ain't long enough. So it's got to be this one with the bracket on it. See that? See it? Same length. Same length. Same length. All of them sticks out the same exact length. That's how you know where each bolt goes. We're going to torque each one of these bolts down to whatever spec it says. So what I'm going to do first is I'm going to run them down, and this is a 5mm. I'm just going to run them down to where they go. Once you got the case seated and the bolts in like we already got, snug them down all the way around, and then you want to use an inch-pound wrench and set it to 120 inch-pounds and go around and torque them all down to spec. That's what we're going to do now. Just like that. Alright, the next thing we're going to do is retime the stator back in and put this side of the motor back together. Alright, see how it's got a little notch, a little line? See how that's got a little line? That's where you want it to be at. Put the rubber back in there and give me a fit. I guess it don't sit. I guess it just sits like that. Alright, we'll snug these up, and then we'll put it where it needs to go.
So what are you screwing down?
The stator.
Can you show me the 3 bolts? Or
Huh?
screws?
Huh?
So it's 3 of them?
Yep. You gotta make sure that's in line. See how it's dead in line now?
Mm-hmm. So you need a Phillips head?
Yep, you're gonna need an impact screwdriver after that. Which I have to find that. Next step is to use the impact screwdriver to tighten these bolts up. And how you use the impact screwdriver is you put pressure on it like you're going to tighten, and you hit it with a hammer. And it tightens them up. And you can't get them back off with a regular screwdriver. You have to have an impact screwdriver to get them back off. If not, you'll strip them. Next thing we're going to do is put the flywheel on, which is probably going to be difficult. There it is. You'll have to put this Woodruff key in there.
What does that do?
It keeps it in place. See how it's got the keyway in it?
Mm-hmm.
That's called a Woodruff key. And it goes right there in that little slot. And then this goes right over the top of it. And you use these to try to get it in there. It's like it ain't land right. I'll use some regular needle nose. I don't know if they'll fit in there or not. I'll use this to sort of put it in place. And then this should slide right over it. Just like that. And you got a washer. Then you got the nut. The next thing we're going to do is torque down the flywheel nut, which is a 17 millimeter, but I couldn't find one, so 11/16 will work also. And it needs to be torqued down to 40 foot-pounds of torque. I don't have the special tool that goes in here, so I used a chain wrench to go around the outside, and we're going to torque it down. And that's it for that. We're done putting the bottom end together, so if you want to see me put the other side together with all the clutch, the shift linkage, clutch assembly, all that stuff, you have to tune in on the next video. Like and subscribe if you want to see the video. If you got any questions about today's video, please comment below and I'll do my best to answer any questions y'all have. Thanks.